Welcome to the Android Show. I'm Rebecca, a developer relations engineer on the Android team at Google, and joining me is...
Dempsey, Tunji Dempsey, an Android engineer with a license to code.
Your Halloween spy costume is spooktacular.
Well, you said we're going to talk about agent mode, so here I am, in secret agent mode.
Well, I'd meant we'd be talking about developing using new agents in Gemini and Android Studio.
Sure, but I wanted to add some spies to the conversation.
Agent mode shipped with the Narwhal release in August, and we're adding more and more agentic experiences. So stay tuned to hear about how these new experiences can help you code.
Also, we're excited for today's episode because we're also broadcasting live from Droidcon here in London, where we have folks from the Android team demoing the latest AI experiences in Android Studio.
And the new Jetpack Navigation 3 library in Compose.
And some brand new generative AI APIs.
We'll also learn more about the recently released Galaxy XR, the first Android XR device. Plus, later in the show, we've assembled a team of experts from Android to answer your questions live. And there's still time to submit your questions now using hashtag AskAndroid on X or in the comments on YouTube. And it's all coming right up.
Sounds great. When's it start?
As soon as we stop talking.
Oh, well, let's go then.
Good to see you. Good to be back. Hello and welcome, everyone. It's great to see so many of you here in person at Droidcon London, and those of you tuned in online. I wanted to start with a big thank you. Your creativity and incredible work is why the Android ecosystem is thriving and growing, with thousands of new developers publishing and joining the community on the Play Store for the first time this year. It feels good to get together with all of you, giving us the chance to connect as a community, to listen, to hear feedback, and to build the platform together. We're in this moment right now where AI changes everything, from how we work to the expectations that we have for apps. And the goal for me and my team, some of who are in the audience here today, is to transform this AI evolution into opportunities for you and your users. We want to deliver the highest return on investment in building for the Android platform. Android is built with AI at its core, and there are two ways that we're bringing this to you. First, by enabling you to unlock amazing new experiences in your apps powered by Google's AI. And second, by making you more productive through embedding AI deeply into our developer tools. When building AI-powered experiences on Android, you can use AI models on device or in the cloud. For flagship Android devices, we offer efficient on-device options with Gemini Nano, where users' data never leaves their device, and this also means that there are no inference costs. At I/O this past May, we launched our on-device GenAI APIs using the Gemini Nano model, and it makes common tasks easier. Things like simple APIs for summarization, proofreading, and even image description. Now, today, we're excited to give you full flexibility to shape the output of the Gemini Nano model. You can pass any prompt you can imagine into the new Prompt API. It currently supports image and text inputs, so you can easily build innovative features for your app, like image understanding, content sentiment analysis, and even creative writing assistance. Our Korean transportation partner, Kakao Mobility, already used the Prompt API to solve two different business challenges. They transformed their parcel delivery service, replacing a slow, manual process where users had to copy and paste details into a form. Now users can simply request delivery in a message, and the API automatically extracts all the necessary information. This single feature reduced order completion time by 24%, and it boosted new user conversion by an incredible 45%. To address privacy concerns with personal mobility devices, they use the API's multimodal power to analyze the user-submitted parking photos entirely on device, as they provided that real-time guidance on how to park. This ensures user privacy, and it also keeps predictable response times free from any network latency. And speaking of model innovation, the excitement from models like Nano Banana and Imogen are incredible. We're unlocking amazing new opportunities for you to build new image editing features like this. And we're bringing these cutting-edge capabilities to the entire fleet of Android devices using cloud-based AI solutions with Firebase AI logic. Your users can now generate and edit images using Nano Banana. And then for finer control, like selecting and transforming specific parts of an image, users can use the new mask-based editing feature that leverages the Imogen model. Now next, an excellent app looks good across all the devices that users own. They want these intelligent experiences to work not just on their phones, but they want it to work across that full range of small to large screens. And in response, Jetpack Compose helps you bring your app to a range of different screen sizes. If you're building adaptively, you've already unlocked an additional 500 million devices across foldable, tablet, car, and even laptop form factors. But this isn't just about reach. It's also about value. We see that users who have a phone and a large screen device spend 9 times more than users who only have a phone. Further, foldable users spend an incredible 14 times more on average compared to phone-only users. Last week, we launched the first of a new wave of Android XR devices with the Galaxy XR headset in partnership with Samsung. And these are devices that are built entirely in the Gemini era, making Android XR a revolutionary new platform and opportunity for your app. And because Android XR is already built on top of familiar Android frameworks, when building adaptively, you're already building for Android XR. To unlock the full potential of Android XR features, you can use the Jetpack XR SDK. And an example of this is Adobe's new Project Pulsar app. Their team, new to Compose, used it to accelerate development, which allowed them to focus their energy on building a unique spatial editing experience. We're investing even more in making it easier to build adaptively with 2 new releases to show for it. First, the new Jetpack Navigation 3 library, which you might have heard about in a talk even earlier today, is the cornerstone of this adaptive strategy. We rebuilt it with the ground up, entirely focused on Compose. And out of the box, it's fully compatible, has advanced animation capabilities supported, and is fully adaptive. And it allows multiple pieces of content to be displayed on the screen at exactly the same time. And to make sure that you have all the resources that you need to go from inspiration to design and then on to development, we released a new adaptive Figma sample to give your designers a productivity boost. So, now that we've explored helping you build excellent experiences across devices and form factors, we want to talk about how we're infusing AI across our tooling to help you be more productive. We want Android Studio to have the most knowledgeable and helpful AI for Android development. And with our recent launch of Agent Mode, you can describe a complex goal in natural language, and under your direction, the agent plans and executes changes on multiple files across your project. And since we want to make it easier to solve complex tasks unique to you, the agent's answers are now grounded in the most modern Android practices, development practices, because the agent even has reference to developer.android.com content, and it can reference that latest documentation in real time. This is all evidence that we're truly at a step change in productivity and creativity. And some proof of that is that hundreds of thousands of developers are using Gemini and Android Studio every single month. It's yielding incredible productivity gains. But, with a claim like that, don't take my word for it. Developers like Pocket FM have shared that they're seeing an incredible, impressive time savings of 50% for their development teams after leveraging these latest innovations. But productivity isn't one size fits all, though. Your company may require the use of a local, private, or even a third-party model. And that's why we're now giving you the capability and flexibility to bring any model of your choice to power Android Studio's agentic AI features. I think that's worth a round of applause. The team's been hard at work on that. And with more code being written by AI, we want to ensure that the code produced by these LLMs is of the very highest quality. To help you increase your productivity, we want LLM makers to build models that know specifically about Android development. So I wanted to share a sneak peek of a new benchmark project that we're working on. We've outlined a set of real-world tasks that you do on a regular basis, like working with a database or building a new screen. We've started testing LLMs against those tasks, and we'll be sharing the results of this benchmark very soon. So you can review how they performed, and you can even replicate and audit the results yourself. So far, while we've found that AI is already helping in a number of key Android development tasks, there's still some work to be done. We're excited to help push forward the entire LLM industry and work directly with LLM makers to be able to have a range of options that can support your Android development workflow. Everything I've covered today so far is a reflection of the commitment that we made at the start, helping you build excellent apps across devices and making you more productive with powerful integrated AI. In a few minutes, you'll see some live demos, but coming up next, we'll hear from the Pocket FM team. Thanks.
In recent times, all the features has been built with the help of AI. I'm Umesh. I'm the CTO for Pocket FM. Pocket FM is #1 audio series platform in the world with over 200 million users across 10 different countries. We want our engineers to do their best work, delivering best quality experience for our end users. And Gemini has been game changer in this regard. With Gemini in Android Studio, we are saving over 50% time while building new capabilities and new screens. While iterating over existing capability and screen, we are saving around 30%. Gemini does an amazing job of anticipating code that is required. Just to give an example, we had to write code for impression tracking, and it almost generated the whole code for us. Supporting Media 3 library was one of the challenging tasks. We were running into multiple error codes, and Gemini in Android Studio helped us resolve them at much faster pace. Gemini in Android Studio helped us building great audio experiences for our end users. To give an example, it detected edge case of notification callback from Bluetooth devices. We found agent mode particularly powerful. We use it for SDK upgrades. It detects all the dependencies, helping us upgrade the SDKs at much faster pace with very few errors. Some other examples include complex multi-threading code or debugging some of the compile time errors. Engineers end up doing their best job when they are in a flow. Gemini in Android Studio has been very helpful, taking care of all the tedious tasks so that engineers can focus on deeper work and build best possible experiences for our end users.
All right. It's great to be here. Today, I want to show you the latest improvements to our agent mode. And everything I'm about to show you actually shipped in a brand new Canary a few hours ago, so you can all try this afterwards. All right, so I'm going to start with bring your own model. And so the way this works is that in Studio, you can now add new model providers. So I'm going to first start with a local model. So I'm going to point to LM Studio. It also works with Olama. And so here I can see all the models that I've installed on my computer. And so now we can go and switch, and I'm going to use this GPT OSS 20 billion parameter model in agent mode. But first, to prove this is really local, I'm going to turn off the network. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's do this. So make this app edge to edge. So off it goes. Now, obviously, this model is not as powerful as the state-of-the-art models that you can find online and that I'm going to be demoing next. but it has its uses. For example, when you are offline. So when I was on the flight over to London, I actually used this model in agent mode without Wi-Fi, and it worked. It was pretty cool. So here it goes. It's reading the manifest. By the way, notice the nice new presentation of tool calls. We kind of de-emphasized them a bit. Yeah, and the agent struggling. This model isn't the very best model, but it's usable. All right, so you can see it's working, and I want to highlight a few things here. First of all, we have this changes drawer. So as it's making edits, you can see the accumulation of all the improvements that the agent has made so far. And so I can click on the files here, and you can see we actually now have inline diffs in the editor showing the staged changes. And I can also go ahead and accept or reject individual hunks of the diff. Looks like it's still working. The other thing I was hoping that it would do is to make a mistake, because I want to show our new file critic. Now, I already have another open project with an example of that, so since it didn't happen live, I'll just show this. So the file critic is basically where every time the agent wants to make an edit, we run all the static analysis in the IDE. We run lint, Kotlin analysis, and so on. We look before the change and after the change, and if the change introduces errors, we tell the agent. So you can see this change, missed some imports, and of course then the agent goes on and continues editing. So that's the file critic, and it helps the agent much more quickly converge on a good solution instead of discovering way later that the project doesn't compile. All right. We're going to abandon this edit. It's fine, I guess, but there are better ways. And so now I want to show you remote models. So I'm going to revert the changes. So for that, we're going to add another model provider. So I'm going to add Claude, remote Claude. You can see we guessed the URL, and now I can put in my API key. I'm not going to show you my API key, so I've already pre-configured this. So you can see this is my key with Anthropic. Let's add Haiku and Sonnet. We also have OpenAI, so I could, for example, add GPT-5. And OpenRouter, there's dozens, maybe hundreds of models that I could choose from. So I'm going to show this to you we'll use Haiku. And I'll start a new thread. We also have support for conversation threads now. Let's try the same thing again. Make this app edge to edge. Oh, the network. Thank you. A lot of people can help me debug. All right, let's turn it back on. All right, how many seconds do you think it takes? All right, let's give it another go. Make this app edge to edge. There it goes. All right, here we have Claude. And you can see it's reading the files, and it's creating a plan. So this is another brand new feature. We have planning mode. So you can see here, we have this checklist here. It's broken down the problem. It's now going to work its way through this task and check off items as it goes. And while it's doing that, I want to make a different point about bring your own model. So I'll bring up the model provider. First of all, we have a built-in model provider for Google AI Studio. So this is where the successor to the Gemini 2.5 family will appear when that's released. The second point is that some of you are concerned when you're using our tools, like, will you send the source files to Google? And so the answer is no. When you use a bring your own model, it goes straight to that provider, and so we put a big notice in here to make that clear, so there's no worries about it. All right. And so you can see now, we've already checked off one of the tasks as complete as Claude is working its way through this edge-to-edge conversion, and we can go and review the diffs. We don't need to watch that, because I'm going to show you another feature, and that is the new project agent. And I'll just use Claude for that too. So the new project agent is great for example, creating sample apps, or maybe project skeletons, or even just to learn. So you can write a prompt for what you want it to build. You can write it short, and then the AI will interpret and make some creative suggestions, or you can be very detailed. I'm just going to paste in this prompt. It's for a recipe app with public recipes. So on the second screen, I can pick a name, recipe app, and then we'll start it. So it creates a blank new project, and then it sets out to sort of pick more requirements for this project. So it's doing some public searching and so on, and it's going to create a more detailed plan for us to review. That usually just takes a few seconds. What do they say about a watched pot never boiling or something? All right, so here comes the proposal. So you can see here it is outlining the features that we expect that we may want, and also the tech stack it's going to use. And I'm going to go ahead and approve this instead of suggesting modifications. Notice, by the way, this button. Another brand new feature we have is giving the ability to the model to not just ask questions, but to also put up buttons, so you don't have to say yes or resume. It can now put up UI controls for you to respond directly, a bit like Gmail canned responses. All right, so now you can see it created a more detailed plan. As it's running, it's going to keep this plan up to date. But I just want to highlight one small thing here, which is very exciting to me. This plan is a markdown file. And so you can see it's previewing the markdown. This is the #1 requested bug in Android Studio's issue tracker. Yeah. So, very excited about it. Now, it's going to keep updating the status of these steps, and this takes usually between 10 and 15 minutes. I don't have that kind of time. So what I'm going to do is pull out a different turkey from the oven that I baked before the show. This is a different project with the exact same prompt. And so here you can see the finished app running on the device. And what I think is really exciting is that if you look at the end of the product plan, it's not just creating and building the app. It actually runs, tests, and verifies it, right? It's going to make sure it's not crashing. So if we scroll down in the log of what it did, you can see that it's actually deploying the app, checking logcat, it's taking screenshots of the app, it is clicking on things and really verifying that it works. And this is not specific to the new project agent. These tools are also available to the general agent. So you can use, you can basically ask in agent mode for it to go and run your app and fix bugs and iterate and so on. It's pretty fun to watch it. So, sky's the limit, I would say, on that. So that's a very quick tour of the new features in agent mode. There's many I haven't talked about. We have a new sub-agent to add app links. We have the new upgrade agent. We have a handful of sub-agents in the UI tools. So make sure you watch Jose and Simona's deep dive on agent mode from a couple of hours ago. Catch the recording of that if you didn't see it live. So that's it for AI in developer tools. Now we're going to hear about AI on device. So roll the tape.
Let's look at Gemini Nano, our most efficient model for on-device tasks. It runs directly on mobile, enabling low-latency responses and data privacy.
While generative AI is transforming the mobile capabilities from refining essays to creating imagery, developers face the fundamental challenge of achieving the speed and privacy of on-device AI without sacrificing the power and flexibility of cloud-based models. In Android, we have something brand new that will help developers bring this next generation of mobile AI to life. Intrigued, I naturally reached out to Ollie, a product manager on the ML Kit team, to hear all about this new capability.
So we're officially announcing the ML Kit's GenAI Prompt API. It unlocks powerful on-device AI capabilities with Gemini Nano, our state-of-the-art model. We know developers need power and performance now, and that's why we're thrilled to share how partners like Kakao Mobility are already building powerful, fast, and private on-device intelligence solutions today. And thanks to MLKit's Prompt API, you can too. This API supports both text and image understanding. So if you want to create tags or descriptions of images, or perhaps manipulate complex data into short, punchy headlines or detailed in-app breakdowns, it's all possible with this model.
Next, I wanted to understand from Ollie what the key benefits are from having this processing done on device.
On-device processing really shines for several key use cases. So first, the data stays totally on device. Everything is local, and that means it's perfect for sensitive information or low latency needs. There's also excellent cost efficiency. Since all inferences remain local, there's no additional cloud costs. Finally, there's simplified management. With the API using AI Core to handle the complex work of distributing and updating Gemini Nano and utilizing specialized hardware like MPUs for the best performance. We're looking forward to enabling developers to build a wide range of new experiences and can't wait to see what you build.
The technical benefits of Prompt API are persuasive, but I wanted to know more about what new opportunities it unlocks. So I connected with a team who's already started building with it. I chatted with Jim Wu, an Android developer, and Harim, a product manager from Kakao Mobility. They're leveraging the Prompt API to deliver a better user experience, improving their key business metrics.
Kakao Mobility is one of Korea's leading mobility platform developers. We've grown the Kakao T-app into a multi-dimensional app offering everything from taxi hailing and navigation, and bike and scooter sharing and parcel delivery with over 30 million active users.
Kakao Mobility's first live feature used the Prompt API to automate their parcel delivery service. They leveraged the API to efficiently extract vital information like recipient addresses and phone numbers from complex, unstructured user input, all on device.
Before these features, users had to manually fill names, addresses, and phone numbers into the order form. A slow process. Using Prompt API with Gemini Nano, we introduced the Auto Entity Extraction feature. It automatically recognizes necessary information from natural language, so then user can request a delivery with chat messages. It converts elements like the address and the phone number into a clean JSON format.
Wow. Then what about for your second feature, bike parking violation detection, which addresses safety and reckless parking? This is a crucial use case as it involves multimodal input. So how does on-device AI fit into this?
Public perception of personal mobility devices has suffered due to issues like reckless parking and safety concerns. We want to address this by analyzing photos users take after parking and providing real-time guidance. This task is only possible by leveraging the Prompt API's multimodal power.
With results like a 45% increase in new user conversion, the on-device AI revolution is clearly just getting started. For more detailed documentation on all of the GenAI APIs, be sure to check out the official documentation page and sample on GitHub.
Hi everyone, I'm Jingyu. I work on AI on Android. You just saw Kakao talk about how they use the new Prompt API. So in the next 5 minutes, I'll put this API in action and show you how to get started. At I/O this year, we launched this Androidify app, which transforms your picture into a cute Android bot using Jetpack Compose, built with Jetpack Compose. So let's take a closer look at the image workflow here. As input, I'm using a picture of me with my dog Maui. And we first pass this image to using Gemini 2.5 Flash model to validate the image, and then get a description of this image. This description is then sent to the Imagine model, which later creates this unique Android bot for me and my dog. Today, with the help of Prompt API, we're able to bring the entire image processing workflow on device, like what you see here, so that the user's photos will never leave their device. Okay, let's get hands-on and start at the beginning of the development cycle. As with any AI-first application, the very first thing I'll do is to prototype with this model. To do this, I'll use a great community tool, LM Studio. I've already downloaded the Gemma 3N model here. Now, you'll probably ask, why Gemma 3N? It's because we released this open model with the exact same architecture as the latest Gemini Nano, meaning we'll get very similar outputs. And this makes prototyping with Gemini Nano so much easier. So next, let's run this inference completely local on this laptop. Here I'm creating a new chat. I'm passing in that image we just saw, and I'll give it a super simple prompt. Describe the person in the image. And as you can see, the model is showing off its multi-modal capabilities here. It is providing a good description of this image, recognizing what I'm wearing, some of the characters, as well as the dog beside me. And for reference, I did test this in Android Studio. As you can see, this is the file where we store all the default values for prompts. And this is that super simple prompt we used. And I ran this a couple of times, and this is one of the better bots that it created. As you can see, it does a good job. It recognized the sunglasses. It also put a lovely dog beside me. But clearly, compared to that original image, we're missing some key details here. So what we want to do to bring this into production is we want to optimize our prompt. And this is especially critical for a small model like Gemini Nano, where a well-engineered prompt will make or break potentially your feature. And for that, I will use the Vertex AI zero-shot prompt optimizer, currently in preview for Gemini Nano. And what it does is it uses an expert-written meta prompt to analyze and refine our prompt for Gemini Nano. And this is the notebook I have set up. Here I've set up my project, and for optimization setting, I'm set up to target Gemini Nano, and I gave it this super simple starting prompt that we just saw. And here is the optimizer result I ran beforehand. And I want to call out what I really like about this tool is not only it gives us this much better, stronger suggested prompt at the end that you can just use and reiterate on it, it also gives me a lot of guidelines so that I write better prompts in the future. Things like adding a structure, so for example, giving it a row, or a few shot examples so that we're guiding the model output. Prompt engineering is an iterative process, and this tool really simplifies that loop. For more advanced optimization, where you have data eval set, we'll soon launch the data-driven optimizer for Gemini Nano in Vertex AI. Okay, I've taken a few iterations and ran it in Android Studio to get some feedback, and here is the final optimized prompt that I'm happy with. So what I'm gonna do is I'll copy this, coming back to Android Studio, and we're gonna update this simple prompt with our optimized one. And I'm gonna rerun this app. Launching on the device. Here we go. All right. So let's put it to test. I'm gonna use the same image we saw earlier through the cloud models. And while Gemini Nano and Imagine are doing their magic, let's take a look at the code. First of all, in order to use Gemini Nano, we want to make sure it is available on the device that we're running. And this class here takes care of model download. For the devices that is compatible and supports Nano, the first time any app on the device tries to invoke Nano, it will trigger a one-time download. This only happens once per every device. And once our model is set up here, this is where we inference the model, and that's where we use the prompt API. As you can see, Nano actually has already done its job here. I was printing out the description, but let's give it a minute for Imagine connecting to the cloud to generate. Coming back to Nano, so we're going to do that image description feature we talked about. How we use the prompt API is we're calling the generate content, and we're giving it a multi-modal prompt. The first part of this prompt is the image, the one of me with my dog, and the second part is that system instruction, the optimized prompt that we just updated. And after that, we set the temperature to 0.2 to configure the model. This is reducing the creativity of this model, so we're really sticking to the factual description of this image. And lastly, the image will give us an output, and we wrap that up in this validated description, and we pick the first candidate there. And the Nano and Imagine actually has done its work already. I'm looking at it on the side. Are you all ready to see what it decided to create this time? All right, here we go. Ta-da! Cool. As you can see, it's picking up the picnic blanket and giving a much more accurate color for my dog. All right. And just like that, we nanofied Androidify. It allows us, it's important to call out that it not only allows us to keep the photo on the user's device, also saving 2 round trips to cloud inference for every image it generated. The Prompt API is in alpha today, and now it's your time to bring this powerful open prompting into your apps. Of course, on-device is just one option, and we're excited to see how developers are building with our cloud-based Gemini models using Firebase AI logic, including our next developer, redbus.
By empowering our Android team with Gemini Flash using Firebase AI logic, we saw an incredible 57% increase in review length and captured richer, better user reviews in just a month.
Ready?
Hi, I am Abhi Muktishwarar, Senior Tech Lead in Mobile Engineering at redbus.
I am Gajendran, Senior Engineering Manager in Mobile Engineering at redbus.
redbus is the world's largest online bus ticketing platform. We connect millions of travelers globally, and over 90% of all our bookings are through our mobile app. Reliable user reviews are critical. While our existing text-based system served us well, that lacked the necessary detail and volume we needed to deliver maximum value to both travelers and operators.
We saw a growing user preferences in India for voice communication. Our goal was to let users speak their feedback in their native languages. Using Gemini Flash through Firebase AI logic was the key to unlocking this. It allows us to improve the volume and quality of reviews dramatically. As a mobile team, the ability to rapidly test this idea was crucial. The integration of the Firebase AI Logic SDK into our app removed the need for backend engineering resources and let us work independently, allowing us to go from idea to launch-ready feature in just 30 days.
The UI encourages users with a prominent mic button and a prompt. The user speaks in their native language. This is where Gemini's multi-language and multimodal capabilities shine, supporting everything from English to Tamil, Hindi, and Telugu, enabling a fully localized experience.
Ana driver romba speed outnar. Overall, nice experience.
The voice is recorded and sent to Gemini Flash. Within seconds, the model returns a valid JSON object that includes the accurate transcription, the translation into English for our systems, will do a sentiment analysis to determine the rating, selecting the relevant tags, and a profanity check. We parse the JSON to instantly autofill the entire review form. The user simply reviews the AI-generated text for accuracy and submits. By eliminating the need to type, we got richer, more detailed data in return. The migration from Gemini 2.0 to Gemini 2.5 was smooth and easy. The increased performance was noticeable with minimal code changes required. My key advice for other developers: AI is for everyone. The Firebase AI logic removes the need to be an ML expert, and the ease of integration enables us to quickly prototype on Android and get early valuable feedback.
The launch of the new AI-powered user review experience is a win-win-win for our traveler, for our operator, and for our development velocity.
Hey everyone, Stevan here, live from the Galaxy event where Samsung just announced the Galaxy XR available on shelves today. The Galaxy XR is a powerful device that allows users to play and work in completely new ways by seamlessly blending the digital and physical world. This launch is an exciting moment because the Samsung Galaxy XR is the first device to be available on the Android XR platform. So what does that mean to you as a developer? With Android XR, you can take advantage of the same familiar tools like Android Studio and Jetpack Compose. use your same code base and extend it with additional APIs and capabilities. And as you're developing for headsets and Android XR, you're also setting yourself up for the future for glasses. So how do you get started? First is developing adaptive for Android. When you do this, you build a UI that will naturally work on this new headset. In home space, users will be able to resize it and interact with your components in a seamless way. Step 2 is really differentiating your app so it shines on XR. You do this by using features such as environments, spatial UI, and 3D objects using the Jetpack XR SDK. This is an opportunity not just to optimize, but to create differentiated experiences only available on Android XR. We recently sat down with the team at Calm to understand how they did this. Kristen and Jamie, thanks for joining us. Can you start by telling us a little bit about what Calm is and the company's mission?
Calm is a leading mental health and wellness company dedicated to helping users sleep better, stress less, and live more mindfully. We're always exploring new ways for users to connect more deeply with our content to accomplish this.
That focus on ways for users to engage with your content makes your jump into XR exciting. What was the vision for the Calm experience on Android XR?
So we were really excited that Android XR allowed us to create a version of Calm that couldn't exist anywhere else. And building for Android XR allowed us to craft a serene and emotionally intelligent sanctuary that users wouldn't just want to visit, but really return to.
For developers who might think building for XR is a massive undertaking, what was your initial approach to bringing your existing 2D app over?
Our main goal was to adapt our Android app for XR, and honestly, the process was really easy. We already use Jetpack Compose extensively, so expanding that expertise into XR was a natural choice for us. We were building our first orbiter menus on day one and had a core XR Calm experience in about 2 weeks.
Could you tell us about what you built to translate the Calm experience into this new spatial environment?
2 key areas that we really love from our mobile app are the breathe bubble and our scenes. So we reimagined those. What would those be like in an XR world? The breathe bubble is our beloved breathwork experience, but brought into 3D. It's this soft pulsing orb that really anchors users to their breath, but now with a full environmental immersion. In the Calm mobile app, we have scenes. These are customizable backgrounds that the users can select. So now with our Calm XR app, you can select scenes, but they completely wrap around you for a fully immersive environment.
What were the keys to building a visually compelling experience that feels native to the Android XR platform?
So I think the immersive canvas really allowed us to rethink how users engage with mindfulness content. So not just listening or watching, but really inhabiting. The interface gently encourages exploration, so it offers users agency while maintaining a clear, emotionally attuned path. We started with concept art, so that helped us establish our direction, which we then translated into 3D models using a human-scale reference to ensure natural proportions. Whenever possible, we tested the assets directly into a headset to fine-tune scale, lighting, and atmosphere.
Do you have any advice for other developers that are looking to build immersive XR experiences?
My advice is to think as big as possible. I think that teams should ask themselves, what is the biggest, boldest version of your experience that you could possibly build? Because now you actually have the platform that can make it real.
So my advice to the other developers would be just integrate the Jetpack XR APIs into your existing app and see what happens. The APIs are very consistent with the other Jetpack libraries you're probably used to. Then you can focus your energy on creating new XR specific experiences.
The work you have all done is truly inspiring. Thank you for showing developers what's possible on the Android XR platform. If you're ready to get started, you can find all the resources you need at developer.android.com/XR. Head over there to download the latest SDK, explore our documentation, and start building the next generation of spatial experiences today. We can't wait to see what you create.
Hi everyone, I'm Clara and I'm the Eng lead for the Android Toolkit team. We know you're stretched thin, and building for watches, cars, XR, on top of just phones is quite a lot of tough. And then you're also trying to build all of your features. So that's where we think Jetpack Compose really comes in. We think of Compose as that baseline framework that really helps you build all of these features that you want in your app. Today I want to cover 2 things about Compose: navigation and performance. First of all, Jetpack Navigation 3, which is now in beta, was built from the ground up with Compose State as that fundamental building block. We've made the library really easy to use and really flexible so that you can build whatever you need. You own the backstack, and then Nav3 just has to react to changes in the state that you own. Instead of encoding all possible features into the library, we built a bunch of recipes, we call them, on GitHub to showcase how you do some common things in Nav3. So let me showcase some of those for you. There you go. So just to show, on GitHub, you can find all of the recipes that I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to walk you through the basic activity recipe, which is the easiest to kind of showcase some of the Nav3 things. So here's basic activity in Android Studio. As you can see, I have a backstack, which is just some Compose State. So I'm using an observable list, and I've already put in there a root A to kind of start my navigation story. Nav display is the key component when you're working with Nav3. Its responsibility is to look at that backstack, observe what's happening, and display the correct thing. You can see that I've passed in the backstack, and then there's this entry provider. Entry provider is where the real fun stuff happens. I'm going to take for every possible key that could showcase into my backstack, and I'm going to define what content do I want to show for that key. Just to show you, the keys are data classes that I've defined up here. So I have a root A and a root B. And you can see you can pass in parameters to these data classes, meaning we're going to enable arguments. So back to my entry provider, I have a very, very simple app here. It has a route A, which is a green screen, and a route B, which is a blue screen. You can see that within my first screen, I've also added a button. And in the on-click of that button, I'm saying backstack.add, adding route B. That means that the moment we click this button, we're going to be telling Nav3 that we've added something to the backstack, and it's going to react to that state and navigate for us. To show you this in action, I already built the app. And so you've got this beautiful, simple green screen. When we click on the button, we're navigating straight into blue screen. So very simple navigation. But you can see that even with that very little piece of code, I already have out-of-the-box animations. See if Studio loves me today. There you go. So you can see that we can do predictive back. It's already all out of the box and looking nice. But now, of course, everyone loves animations, and everyone loves to tweak their animations. So we're going to showcase how you can do that very easily with Nav3. You can set animations either at the nav display level for all of your navigation destinations, or you can do it at the nav entry level and kind of customize each place. I'm going to go with easy, and I'm going to do it at the nav display level. And I'm going to just add here a little bit of animation code. Hopefully, if you're familiar with your Compose, if you're familiar with animated content, this should look super familiar, because it's exactly the same animation APIs that we use for everything else. There's one small difference in navigation, which is we have this concept of directionality. You can navigate to something, and you can navigate back from something. So that's why we have several animations that we can define to really customize each one. We will use transition spec when we're defining the navigation to something, pop transition spec when we're defining how we pop the backstack, and then predictive pop when we're talking about what we do with predictive back. Here, just to showcase that I'm doing something different, I've used the Compose animation APIs to define a slide-in vertically animation using together with an exit transition. So hopefully, if I now rerun my app, always takes longer when live. You'll see that once you click, now we have the beautiful animation coming from below with just very little code. So as you can see, this is all very easy, and we've really focused on making navigation really powerful. Can I move to the slides, please? We've covered navigation. The next topic I want to cover is Compose performance. We heard from you, we want to make Compose fast and easy, really help you build apps, and so we focus big on two things. One of them is really working on all of those features that you've told us are missing from views, and so we've made really good progress on the feature work. But also, we know that we need to keep Compose performance on par with what you expect it to be. Especially in the last few years, we've heard kind of feedback from the community that you were seeing older versions of Compose, especially on lower-end devices, showing a lot of jank. And so we've really tackled that in the last year. We built a set of benchmarks that we've really been focusing on, and today I want to showcase one of those with you. Here we have a benchmark we built, which is a feed-style UI, and what we do is we have a benchmark where we measure a very long scroll on this UI and see what kind of jank rates do we get. We've implemented this on views and Compose so that we can actually compare numbers. When we look at that, Vue sets a baseline of about 0.2% jank rate. So that's our target. When we look at the numbers for Compose up to 1.8, we'll see that we fluctuate more or less around the 0.6%. With Compose 1.9, we managed to dip straight into matching views at 0.2%, which is very exciting. And then Compose 1.10, which is now in beta, maintained that same value. But also, in the meantime, we've shipped a bunch of new features that we know are going to help us inch closer and closer to that real ideal 0%. So let me walk you through some of those. In the past 2 releases specifically, we've shipped a lot of features that are related to how we do prefetch in lazy lists, which really affects things like that benchmark. First of all, we looked really deeply and we fixed a couple issues in our scheduling, which always helps. But next, we shipped 2 big features. The first one is called prefetch cache windows. With prefetch cache windows, we're enabling you to set how much should a lazy list be prefetching and how much should we be preparing UI ahead of time so that when that scroll happens, we avoid jank because we've got all of the composition ready. Enabling a larger cache window is really easy. There's just a new parameter in remember lazy list state that you have to set. When we talk about prefetch, it means that we're looking at frames and we're utilizing any little bit of idle time in between frames to prepare content that is still not on screen, but we have those little gaps. This only helps if we can fit the items that we want to prefetch into those little small gaps. When we have complex UI, we found that we weren't doing any precomposition at all because we just couldn't fit it in the time. This is where we have a new feature we're calling pausable composition that will really help. Pausable composition allows us to do a piece of that composition, pause it, go back to generating the current frame, and then work on that background composition across multiple frames. This means that we can take the very complex item and actually have it ready in prefetch when it shows on screen. All of these features add up to the trends we're seeing in these benchmarks where we're getting better and better at reducing jank across scrolling. And we know we're going to make a lot of difference moving forward once all of these have really rolled out. A lot of these improvements are already out in production. We've seen great data from partners. We've got Disney Plus, who just migrated their app from Views to Compose and are telling us they're seeing 6% faster frame rates, which is great. And you can know more about it. There's a performance spotlight week coming up, and you will hear all more about that. From our end, we continue to invest in Compose. We want it to be the way you build beautiful, performant, adaptive UIs, and we can't wait to see what you do.
Many app release notes simply say bug fixes and performance improvements. But did you really improve performance? It might not be intuitive to prioritize optimizing performance over writing the next hot feature, but when that new feature takes a long time to load or is slow to render, your users can become frustrated. And unhappy users are more likely to abandon the feature you spent so much time on. App performance is a core part of user experience and app quality. Improved app performance is highly correlated with increased user satisfaction, which can lead to higher retention, engagement, and improved review scores. In the Spotlight Week on Android app performance, we are going to provide you with the low-effort and high-impact tools and guidance to get your app on the fast track to better performance and increased user satisfaction. Here's an overview of the 3 main things we're going to cover in App Performance Spotlight Week. Number 1, we will teach you how to configure and troubleshoot the R8 optimizer and use profile-guided optimization. Number 2, we will share best practices on performance measurements, starting from readily available options and building it up. And number 3, we'll bring in some of our exciting partners to share their performance improvement stories and how that has affected their user satisfaction. We partnered with several app developers and worked with them while they adopted highly impactful performance tools such as R8 and profile-guided optimization. All of them immediately saw significant improvement in app startup, frame rendering, ANR rates, and other technical metrics. I'm excited to share their stories in detail with you throughout the week, including the non-technical follow-up effects on their app. We'll also show you everything you need to know to improve your app's performance. We'll show you how to successfully integrate the R8 optimizer. Whether you're just getting started, are looking for best practices on improving your R8 configuration, want to see how tools have improved, or are scratching your head and could do with tips on debugging and troubleshooting, we have you covered. We'll demonstrate how profile-guided optimization in the form of baseline and startup profiles is ready and proven to boost your app's performance. You will see exciting news on how Jetpack Compose improves rendering performance of Android apps. We're going to share more insights into app health measures that can further improve your app's performance. And we'll introduce you to best practices and new APIs on app monitoring so you can know exactly how much better your app performs. We're kicking off the Spotlight Week on performance with an exciting challenge that can improve your app's performance right away. And at the end of the week, you can join an in-depth conversation with engineers behind the tools. So set yourself up for success and stay tuned throughout the Spotlight Week on Android app performance.
So you can go from a prompt to an interface to code in just a minute or so.
Gemini 2.5 Pro is awesome at coding.
You did all of this with what? AI and 5 lines of code? That's so cool.
At Google I/O, a big theme we saw over and over again was around how AI is helping developers be really more productive. The gap between thinking of a new idea and building is in a matter of hours, not days. But this got me thinking, if developers are building new experiences at the speed of light, what about everything else that comes after? Will developers be able to keep up their business operations to the speed of their code? I've been closely following some of the changes Play's made to the Play console UI recently. The team reimagined the console's app dashboard, putting the most important actionable metrics front and center, and really reorganizing them around 4 main reasons a developer visits the console: to test, monitor, grow, or monetize their app. I had the chance to catch up with Sanjana Verma, a product manager on the Play team, to learn more about the team's thinking. I started by asking Sanjana about the new insightful overview pages added to each of the 4 developer objectives in the refreshed dashboard.
What we're really trying to do is help reduce and simplify the decisions you may have to make when visiting Play Console. To provide clear visibility into your app's lifecycle, we added new overview pages so you can now quickly understand your app's performance across each goal, see the tools and features available to help optimize further, and get a list of recommended actions you can take if you're not sure where to start.
I see. So if you're looking to, say, check on the health and quality of your app, you'd jump straight to the Monitor and Improve tab to get an overview.
That's exactly right. The developer in this case would see their Android vitals, policy status issues, summary of user ratings and reviews, as well as a list of actions they can take to improve their app, all in one spot.
I started to see Play's vision. They're not just showing you the data, they're showing you exactly where to go next. But it sounds like the story doesn't end with just a cleaner dashboard. What are the helpful, streamlining tools being built on top of it to accelerate the developer's workflow?
Yeah, that's a great question. Let's start with taking action on your pre-launch goals. To cut down on integration complexity, we've improved the deep links page in Play Console. One of the biggest enhancements is the built-in emulator, which lets developers test the deep link on an emulated device to visualize the user experience before it goes live.
Okay, wait. This sounds like a huge deal. How exactly is this helping developers manage deep links?
So imagine this. You've built a massive campaign, a user clicks that link, but instead of landing on the specific product page, they hit the generic homepage. Or worse, they get a blank screen. That's the wrong door experience. So the new tool lets you copy that exact scary deep link URL and paste it right into the console. You see an emulator fire up, and instantly you can visualize the full user experience.
Solving problems before launch is one thing, but what about post-launch?
So once you ship, the goal instantly shifts to monitor and grow for your app's business. And for that, we're putting AI to work by further integrating Gemini. First, quick chart summaries. We know most developers don't have the time to stare at complex charts on metric pages all day. Gemini now automatically generates plain language summaries to key trends in seconds for charts on metric pages, such as a bump or dip in data. And this is also a huge value add for anyone with limited vision, who may previously have found it difficult to read and digest metric pages. Second, global growth. That means you're ready to expand to additional markets for which you have to localize. Play Console uses Gemini models to automatically localize all the strings into your app. And these translations tend to be higher quality than traditional machine translation because Gemini is able to provide more accurate and natural-sounding translations.
Sanjana, thanks for breaking this all down. It really shows that Play isn't just watching the problem, you're actively thinking about the solution that addresses today's business challenges. Hearing all of this, it started to click for me. This isn't just about a cleaner dashboard. It's about fundamentally changing the workflow with Play Console to make the business side of building an app feel as fluid and intuitive as the coding side is becoming. Earlier of Nav 3 for Jetpack Compose.
Yep, navigation is important. Speaking of navigation, why are we on a bus?
It's a London thing, and since we're here for the Droidcon London event.
Oh, it's an event bus architecture.
Sure, and since you're visiting, I wanted to show you some very London things.
Coming up next, it's time for my favorite session, Ask Android. This panel is live from Droidcon London, featuring experts from the Android team answering your questions. There's still time to submit your questions now using the hashtag AskAndroid or in the comments section on YouTube.
And while you do that, I'm just gonna ask if I can drive the bus.
The double-decker, you sure you can drive it?
I mean, I drive a car. How different can it be?
Anyway, let's navigate this event bus to the conference. Next stop, Droidcon.
Hello, everyone. A little bit of movie magic. I'm not on the bus anymore, but I'm here in Droidcon. Okay, so we're now at the Ask Android section. Thank you so much for submitting your questions online. I've been going through many of them. So thank you again, and thank you to our panelists for joining us. For those of you who don't know me, as I introduce myself in the show, my name is Rebecca, or Bex. I am on the Android DevRel team, and I manage the Jetpack Compose Performance and KMP team. And I am joined here with my lovely colleagues. Thank you so much. If you want to go down the line and introduce yourself and maybe say what you're happy to answer questions on or what you work on.
Sure. Matthew McCullough, Android developer, and anything that makes you more productive in your Android development.
All right, I'm Tor. I lead engineering for tools and libraries. And I'll take questions on that, although Clara will probably handle the libraries.
Hi, I'm Jingyu. I work on AI experiences in Android DevRel. I'm happy to answer questions when you're building AI applications, working with AI models, bringing that into your applications.
I'm Clara Bayarri. I'm the Eng lead for Android Toolkit, so mostly Jetpack Compose and architecture components.
I'm Patrick Fuentes. I work on Android XR and happy to talk about it.
I'm Don. I'm an engineer on the Android Developer Relations team, and I am working on navigation, so happy to take questions on that.
Woo. Wow, getting a cheer during the clap just for introducing yourself. Let's see. Well, okay, we've got the first question here. Is the studio team only working on AI? Tor, I think I'm going to give you that one.
Yeah, we're not. There's a lot of stuff that we're doing. Some of it I can't talk about yet. But one of the recent things that we have done publicly is a lot of support to make R8 better. We really want to see more adoption of shrinking and optimization. And we know that that was hard before, so we're doing a bunch of work, new lint checks. We're making R8 have partial shrinking. We're doing retracing in logcat. There's a bunch of features around that. We have Compose, layout inspection. There's a bunch of other stuff, but for sure, AI is a big focus as well. And Markdown support, yeah. And maybe it's a bit like, the space program had all these side benefits besides space. The original Markdown rendering was actually done because of StudioBot, because we needed to render Markdown, and we didn't have any other option to do it. So yeah.
Markdown is the Velcro
That's right.
of the space.
Yeah.
Okay, the next question we have here is, so what can my phone's AI do offline? Jingyu, I'm going to give that one to you.
Yeah, happy to answer that. So when it comes to offline, as you probably saw earlier in the demo, what we really want to leverage is this model that's available already on these devices, which is Gemini Nano. And as you have already heard many times, we're not only making the open prompting available, there are 4 already in beta features that's for summarization, image description, description available since I/O. So all of these are, ready for you to build with. And the really cool thing with Prompt API is really it's open prompting. So a lot of people were asking, what can I build with it? It takes image and text as input. It really comes back to, where your imagination leads you and what you need in your app. And the rest comes to tuning that prompt, try and error, playing with it, and bring that delightful experience to your users.
Okay, we have another one here on Android XR. Okay, so can the tracking and stability innovations from the Android XR project be ported to AR Core, compatible mobile devices? Curious how much of the crossover there is in this capability. Patrick?
Got it. Yeah. I would say, like everything with Android platform, we want a cohesive experience across devices. Does every capability make sense on every device? Like we introduced hand tracking, really detailed, great on XR headsets. Does it make sense on phones? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it does. If it does, let us know. Open up the issue tracker, file a feature request. If you're seeing performance issues, please let us know there as well. File a bug. I would say the team is hard at work, still working on AR Core on mobile in all of our form factors, and we want it to be a good developer experience.
Thank you. Okay. Ooh, this is one. Clara, you demoed some of the animation support for Nav3. What about shared element transitions? And I think, Dom, maybe you can actually answer this bit, because I know we were supporting an alpha.
Throw me under the bus, why not?
What happened? I know, I'm like, Clara's done enough.
Okay, so the history here is that in the early alphas of Nav3, we had shared element support between scenes, so you could create these really nice transitions when you change scene. We removed that, which was popular. And the reason we removed it is because it was kind of a hack, the way we were achieving it. And shared element transitions, as I'm sure some of you are aware, are an experimental feature. So we didn't want to... Sorry, you want to add to that?
We just stabilized shared element transitions.
Amazing. Okay.
That's 1.10.
But we need to figure out in Nav3 how to do this properly. So we were just waiting for that to happen. So you will see shared element transitions in Nav3 in an upcoming release, and I'm going to say months, certainly not years, but should be pretty soon. Pretty soon.
If I can add just the Compose libraries, we're at a point where it's a big train, right? Like we have a lot of pieces moving at the same time, and sometimes it's really hard for us to align kind of a dependency between them, and we prefer doing things right than rushing them. So that's where a lot of these calls you'll see where we'll hold something, we really prefer to get those APIs right and to get that integration correct than to ship something that we then regret. And so in this case, it's interesting because we ended up with Nav3 and Compose 110 moving to beta kind of at the same time, but it was almost by accident because of other things that happened. So we will do that integration. It's part of making sure all of our puzzle pieces work well together.
I'm glad we got you on stage so we can hash that out. Okay. I think we're gonna do this one next. Okay, so how is Google making Android an AI first OS? Nominate Matthew.
Okay, to me, in 3 layers. Number 1, I think we're bringing it to developers in their tools, because if we, our first contract is essentially to help you be more productive. So from things like UI transform to code completion to agent mode, you've seen like a half dozen examples today. That's the foundation. I think the second piece, was in many ways demonstrated by Jingyu, which is the ability to bring it into the applications and user experiences. Because if you're going fast, the next thing is like give extra value to your users, so building into the apps. And then the last piece that is represented, but kind of not on the stage, it's the people that are helping us do what we can do, is the platform team for Android. And we're bringing that in as many system and platform services as possible. From Magic Queue that you may have seen recently released or announced, to just the fact that we have the infrastructure support for Gemini Nano as a model where there's memory carved out for that and the ability to just depend on that being on device. We're essentially doing it in all 3 layers. So again, to repeat, it's from the platform and giving you that support from the very base of the OS to giving you tools so you can place it into your user experiences, and then helping you as developers go fast and efficient as you build those apps.
Nice. Okay. This one I think is a good segue then. But maybe, Jingyu, you've kind of answered this a little bit already. Which AI features use Gemini Nano on device?
Actually, Matthew mentioned a few, but specifically for Nano, we have the voice. There's so many, but I'll give you a few examples. There's the voice recorder that does the summarization. For folks who have used TalkBack, we use the image accessibility with Nano as well. And for the weather forecast, we're using that. And for folks using Gboard, there is the smart reply in messages, and Gboard auto fill your rest of your messages. So yeah, many examples.
Okay, the next one we have is most apps that have updated to Android 16 seem to bypass the edge-to-edge requirement. The gestures don't match the tab area above it. Also, most apps splash screens also don't seem to fill the entire screen. Why is it so hard for developers to implement edge-to-edge? I think maybe this answer is for me. Oh, no. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I used to work on the SysUI team. I used to work on edge-to-edge. So I guess the thing is like when we technically was enforcing edge-to-edge, it meant all we did was that we were removing listening to certain APIs. So depending on how you were handling window insets, it meant that you may or may not be actually kind of being like enforced, I guess. The reason why it's so hard, well, it kind of depends on your app architecture. If you have many activities, the set deck or system windows, which Tor was demoing earlier, using Gemini in the agent mode, that happens at the activity level. So if you have many activities, you're going to have to go and test every single screen. And I think what developers have tend to find, and even me as a user, as someone who has like such a pesky eye for edge-to-edge, I see sometimes it will be like the random screen that maybe is on like a certain part of the flow. So my ask is actually do Tor's demo, see whether that works for you. And also we're very interested to hear if there's any particular components, maybe where you're expecting window insets to be handled in a particular way, which aren't, or if there's more that we can be doing, especially in Jetpack Compose. Okay, fun, I got a question. Next question. How are deep links handled with Navigation 3? Don, I know this is your favorite.
So deep links are handled through a recipe. Okay, they're not built into the Nav3 library itself. There's various different use cases for deep links. So our intention is to provide a bunch of different recipes which handle the nuance of handling deep links. So check out the GitHub repository. And the one that's there is kind of the basic use case, but we've got a couple more planned. So,
yeah. Okay, next question. Where should I start with getting my app to get it running on Android XR? Patrick.
First, the good news, like Matthew was saying, or Stefan was saying earlier, if you're building adaptive apps, you're already building for Android XR. So if you haven't already, work on ensuring you have adaptive UI. Make sure you have support for external input devices like hardware keyboards. Beyond that, if you're looking for low-hanging fruit that is specific for XR, orbiters can be a good place to start, but it kind of depends on what your app specifically does. So for example, like if you have an app that plays video, pulling your playback controls out into an orbiter, that could be a great place for low-hanging fruit. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're the expert on your app. I would say load it on an XR device, or if you can't get one on the XR emulator, try it out, see what makes sense for you and your app.
Okay, this next one is fun. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it does have some emojis. Hey, Android team. I'm honestly losing my mind over these endless Gradle sync failures. Actually, maybe I am going to read it all. I spent more time syncing than actually coding, smiley face. Please provide a proper solution. Tor?
Yeah, we may have heard this feedback before. I think that when we hear from developers every year, build speed and build reliability is top. We know that. We also keep working on it. Believe it or not, we have a lot of people working on it. It's hard. There are some concrete things we're doing. We're working very closely with Gradle and JetBrains on declarative Gradle, which I think will help with the reliability part, which I think this wasn't just about build speed, right? I heard.
Yeah, mainly just, yeah.
Yeah. So I really think declarative will really help. The other thing that, I wish you could have seen the full run of the new project agent, because it actually sits there sometimes and it goes like, okay, I'm going to add this dependency. Oh no, here's a message. Let me try to deal with that. And it can actually help too. So having the agent help with some of the fixing of build issues. Sync should always be reproducible. So if it's synced before, it should sync again. That's one of the key things of Gradle. So I'm assuming the sync prompts are when they tried to change something. Like, let me up to this library, and oops, that's incompatible with this other library, right? This is what upgrade agent is for. So, I would say the AI and longer term, the declarative, I think, are maybe our best bets. And meanwhile, we're also working on parallel sync for the speed.
Okay, I think we have time for one last question. Does the new Gemini Nano Prompt API support creating agents? Jingyu/Tor, I guess.
The Prompt API, I would say short answer, not at the moment. If you're thinking about agent in terms of actions that you wanted to take, function calling, but as we all know, these models are being developed and improved very quickly. I'm not here to predict the future, but I do believe very soon in the future that's something you will see being made available on device as well.
Okay, so I think that's all we have time for taking your questions. Thank you so much to our panelists. Thank you so much for submitting the questions using the hashtag AskAndroid. Please do keep sharing the feedback with us, whether our love language is bugs and our issue tracker, so please do submit them if you can. And yeah, thank you, everybody.
Hey, Android developers. Have you ever wondered what would be possible with your apps if they were able to break out of their small pane of glass and into the user's real world? Ready to start building? Be sure to check out the Android XR Spotlight Week to learn how you can build on the expertise you already have to bring your app into the world of XR. Here's a peek at just 3 of the many things we covered. Number 1, adapt your UI for a spatial world. Your app's UI is no longer limited to a physical screen. With Android XR, you can break free from the boundaries of phones and tablets and unleash your creativity on an infinite canvas. We'll show you how to bring your apps into a spatial environment and take advantage of powerful new UI toolkit capabilities. Number 2, level up your performance and optimization. For developers building with Unity, we'll help you supercharge your immersive games and apps. Whether you're porting an existing experience or building from scratch, get the essential tips and guidance to ensure your app delivers flawless, buttery smooth performance on Android XR. And number 3, get your amazing XR experiences into users' hands. You built an incredible app, and now it's time to share it with the world. We'll walk you through everything you need to know about publishing and distributing your app for Android XR, making sure your launch is as smooth and successful as possible. From packaging your app to navigating store policies and reaching a global audience, we'll provide the key guidance to get you ready for prime time. And that's just scratching the surface. So tune into this Spotlight Week to learn about where your apps and games can go with Android XR.
All right, that was a lot. We saw demos for agentic coding in Android Studio, new APIs, Nav3, and the latest Android XR device.
Then I guess we're done.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
Oh, I can. Let's get TJ's London tour on the road. Next stop, Buckingham Palace, then Piccadilly Circus, and then afternoon tea at the Ritz.
Did they actually say you could drive this thing?
Oh, I didn't ask.